Hello everyone. Welcome back. Today, we've got some crucial news you don't want to miss. Let's dive right into the top financial headlines and break down what's happening. A recent Bloomberg report highlights a significant trend in international capital markets. The growing cash reserves of $7 trillion, and counting, are challenging Wall Street skeptics. Here's a breakdown of the report and its implications. U.S. money market funds hit a record $7 trillion. For the first time, U.S. money market fund assets have exceeded $7 trillion. The slower-than-expected pace of Federal Reserve interest rate cuts could further drive funds into the U.S. money market. Wall Street had widely anticipated 2024 to be a year of significant cash outflows from money markets. The reasoning? Falling interest rates would reduce the returns on cash, pushing investors to seek higher yields elsewhere. However, contrary to these expectations, funds have continued to pour into the U.S. market, revealing a surprising resilience in the demand for cash holdings. This trend sheds new light on the structural dynamics of today's financial markets, an angle often overlooked in traditional market analyses. Why did Wall Street expect a cash exodus? Wall Street's earlier predictions were grounded in the assumption that rate cuts would boost stock and bond markets. This would naturally lead investors to withdraw funds from money markets. But even as the Federal Reserve lowers the benchmark interest rate to 4.5%, money market funds are still delivering nearly risk-free returns. These steady returns are playing a vital role in supporting many households' finances, partially offsetting the broader economic challenges posed by higher interest rates. As evidence grows that the Fed may not reduce rates further, analysts are beginning to believe that Americans' appetite for cash isn't waning anytime soon. The appeal of cash investments. Cash remains highly attractive in the current environment. For example, 3-month Treasury bills currently yield 4.52%, and the Federal Reserve's overnight reverse repo facility, frequently used by money market funds, offers a 4.55% return. These competitive yields underscore why cash remains a preferred asset class for many investors. Why this matters? The Bloomberg report offers an essential lens for understanding shifts in global capital markets. Monitoring the size and flows of the money market can help track structural changes across key asset classes like equities, bonds, futures, cryptocurrencies, and gold. These movements not only reveal intermarket dynamics but also provide critical insights into the broader trajectory of global investment flows. For those involved in investing or simply keeping a close eye on financial markets, this report serves as a valuable guide to navigating today's evolving economic landscape. Next, let's focus on Trump's return sparks divided reactions in Europe. Bloomberg recently reported on the mixed reactions across Europe following Donald Trump's return to the U.S. presidency. The article, titled "Trump's Friends in Europe Welcome Return of a Kindred Spirit," highlights how attitudes toward Trump vary significantly between Eastern and Western Europe. A tale of two Europes. In Eastern Europe, Trump's victory has been met with celebration among some political leaders and conservative factions. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán toasted with vodka, and members of Poland's largest opposition party reportedly chanted Trump's name in parliament. Leaders from Budapest to Bratislava and Belgrade are embracing what they view as a new era of transactional diplomacy under Trump, especially his plans to end the war in Ukraine, even though specifics remain unclear. Orbán expressed his alignment with Trump's policies during a televised speech, emphasizing peace over war, anti-immigration stances, and support for family values over progressive gender policies. Slovakia's Prime Minister Robert Fico hailed Trump's win as part of a broader culture war, framing it as a defeat for liberal and progressive ideologies. Similarly, Czech billionaire and former Prime Minister Andrej Babiš, a Trump ally who may regain power in upcoming elections, described Trump as the best solution for Europe and the world. Western Europe's nuanced reception. While Trump's return is celebrated in parts of Eastern Europe, reactions in Western Europe are more cautious. However, not all Western leaders are critical. Conservative movements in countries like the Netherlands, Denmark, and even Germany have shown growing support for Trump, reflecting a broader ideological divide within Europe. Advice for navigating post-election anxiety. This divided response to Trump's victory extends beyond Europe to many Americans, some of whom find themselves in heightened states of anxiety, both among his supporters and detractors. It's worth noting that the election is over, and the results are final. Moving forward, there are two key points to consider. Hold leaders accountable. For those living in the US, the focus should shift to monitoring whether Trump's administration delivers on its promises. In a democracy, leaders are meant to serve the public, not be idolized. Treating politicians like celebrities or personal heroes can undermine the essence of democratic accountability. Manage disapproval thoughtfully. For those who oppose Trump, it's important to acknowledge that while you may not like him, letting this disdain dominate your emotional or mental well-being over the next 4 years is counterproductive. The goal is not to amplify political anxiety, but to channel energy into understanding the world better and finding ways to live with greater peace and purpose. Instead of fixating on disagreements, it's more valuable to seek strategies that make life more fulfilling and balanced. Turtle Speaker Johnson faces backlash over blocking ethics report on Matt Gaetz. Reuters today reported on House Speaker Mike Johnson's decision to withhold an ethics report concerning Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz, a Trump ally and potential nominee for Attorney General. The controversy has sparked heated debate within the Republican Party and across American political circles. The ethics investigation. The report in question stems from an investigation by the House Ethics Committee into allegations against Gaetz, including corruption and claims of inappropriate relationships with minors. While the investigation has been completed, Johnson has resisted calls to release the findings, citing concerns over setting a problematic precedent. Johnson argued that making the report public could open a Pandora's box, potentially leading to the release of damaging information about former members of Congress in the future. He stated, "I believe it's critical to maintain the tradition of not releasing ethics reports on individuals who are no longer serving in Congress." Since Gaetz has already resigned his position as a representative, Johnson contends that releasing the report would violate long-standing norms. Mounting pressure to release the report. Despite Johnson's position, there is growing pressure from some senators and public commentators for transparency. Critics argue that withholding the report undermines accountability, especially as Gaetz is being considered for a high-profile role in the Justice Department. Transparency advocates worry that concealing the report could erode trust in congressional oversight processes and set a dangerous precedent for shielding politically sensitive information. Future implications. The Senate and public opinion may not be swayed by Johnson's rationale, and the report's ultimate fate remains uncertain. Some lawmakers have hinted at the possibility of acquiring the document through alternative channels, while others have expressed frustration with what they see as a lack of accountability within the House. This controversy underscores the tensions within the Republican Party over Gaetz's potential nomination, as well as broader concerns about ethics and transparency in American politics. Whether the report remains sealed or eventually sees the light of day, the issue is likely to fuel further debate in the weeks ahead. Next up, from The Economist, what a Republican trifecta will mean for governing. The Economist addressed a pressing question following the Republican Party's historic sweep in the recent elections. What does this newfound power mean for President Trump's authority? With Republicans securing the presidency and majorities in both the Senate and the House, concerns about potential overreach have surfaced, but history and the U.S. political system suggest a more nuanced reality. Checks and balances remain key. The U.S. Constitution is designed to limit presidential power, even in cases where one party controls all branches of government. In theory, Congress acts as a counterbalance by requiring legislative approval for significant policies. If Congress rejects a presidential proposal, the president must either amend the proposal, abandon it, or rely on executive orders, which lack the enduring legal weight of congressional laws. Although Republican control of the House and Senate simplifies passing legislation, divisions within the party can still hinder progress. Historical precedent shows that even unified government rarely leads to unchecked power. For example, during Trump's first term, despite Republican control of the presidency and Congress, efforts to repeal the Affordable Care Act faced resistance within the GOP itself. One-party control is common. Contrary to fears of overreach, one-party control is not unusual in U.S. history. Since 1901, 16 of 21 presidents have begun their terms with their party holding majorities in both chambers of Congress. However, this dynamic rarely results in unchecked dominance due to the system's inherent checks and balances. The role of midterm elections. Midterm elections every 2 years serve as a critical safeguard against prolonged one-party rule. These elections often disrupt unified government, as seen with Presidents Obama, Trump, and Biden. Each began their terms with their party controlling the presidency and Congress, only to face significant losses in midterms. This cyclical pattern ensures that no party can dominate indefinitely without accountability to voters. Republican unity faces internal challenges. Despite the Republican sweep, internal divisions may prevent the party from enacting sweeping legislative changes. The Economist noted ongoing disagreements among GOP lawmakers on issues like personnel appointments and major policy goals. This lack of cohesion underscores the limitations even a fully Republican-controlled government may face. Understanding U.S. democracy. The article emphasizes that the U.S. political system is fundamentally resilient, designed to prevent any leader or party from wielding unchecked power. While the system has its share of disputes and polarization, its foundational checks and balances remain robust. Takeaway. The Economist's analysis serves as a reminder that American democracy is built to withstand political turbulence. It encourages observers not to conflate the U.S. presidency with authoritarian rule, highlighting the strength of the country's constitutional framework in maintaining balance and accountability. Elon Musk kicks off recruitment for the Government Efficiency Department. Elon Musk has launched the recruitment drive for the controversial Government Efficiency Department even before Donald Trump's inauguration. Unlike other cabinet appointments that require Senate confirmation, this department is operating outside traditional government processes, raising questions and sparking debates about its authority and objectives. The vision for the Government Efficiency Department. Announced by President-elect Trump, the department will be co-led by Musk and biotech entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy. It aims to tackle inefficiencies in government spending, ostensibly to streamline operations and cut costs. On November 14, Musk posted a recruitment announcement on X, formerly Twitter, stating, "We're looking for ultra-high IQ, small government revolutionaries willing to work 80-plus hours a week for zero pay. If that's you, send your resume to this account." Musk later quipped about the position, calling it a boring, thankless job with zero pay and countless enemies. What a deal! The tongue-in-cheek tone hasn't dampened the widespread interest or criticism surrounding this unconventional initiative. Skepticism and debate over the department's role. Public reaction to the Government Efficiency Department has been mixed, with sharp debates about its legitimacy and efficacy. Lack of authority. Critics question how the department will operate without congressional approval. Its authority appears derived solely from Trump's executive mandate, leading to concerns over its ability to influence federally approved budgets or legislation. Revolution, not reform. Musk has described the initiative as a revolution rather than mere reform. This rhetoric has fueled speculation that the department may clash not just with Washington's bureaucratic swamp, but also with Trump's own administration. Future tensions. Analysts predict that friction could arise between Musk's team and the Trump administration. While initially allies, differences in priorities or approaches could lead to a breakdown in their relationship. Why Musk might be taking this on? Musk's motivations remain unclear. Is this a bold attempt to disrupt government inefficiency, or is it a calculated strategy to further his influence and ideas? Some argue that Musk's track record as a visionary entrepreneur could bring fresh perspectives to governance, while others caution that his unconventional methods might face insurmountable resistance. Observing the experiment. The Government Efficiency Department is an unprecedented experiment in outsourcing government functions to a quasi-private entity. While it's too early to predict its success or failure, its progress will undoubtedly provide valuable insights into how innovation and governance can, or cannot, coexist. For now, the world watches as Musk's unorthodox approach unfolds, raising questions about the boundaries of power, authority, and innovation in the modern era. Finally, let's look at the fall of Hong Kong, once Asia's financial center. A Wall Street Journal report titled "How Beijing Took Control of Hong Kong's Financial Hub and Left the West Behind" offers a striking analysis of the city's shifting financial landscape. While the findings might seem groundbreaking internationally, many in China view it as a belated acknowledgement of trends they've observed for years. The shift toward mainland influence. The report opens with a telling anecdote. Earlier this year, Hong Kong Stock Exchange, HKEX, CEO Nicolas Agusin delivered a speech in Mandarin rather than English, a notable departure from the city's tradition of using English for major announcements. His audience? Representatives from 3 Chinese asset management companies launching cryptocurrency funds. The absence of English interpretation at the event marked a symbolic shift, underscoring how deeply Hong Kong's financial ecosystem has aligned with mainland China. This transformation extends beyond language. In 2024, foreign banks participated in just 20% of Hong Kong's IPO transactions, down sharply from 50% 2 years prior. Chinese state-owned enterprises, SOEs, and banks have rapidly filled the void left by Western institutions, becoming dominant players in Hong Kong's capital markets. Erosion of Hong Kong's global financial identity. The Wall Street Journal analysis highlights several dimensions of this internalization. Shifting clientele. Private banking in Hong Kong now caters predominantly to wealthy mainland Chinese clients, rather than the expatriates and global elites who once dominated the market. Recruitment trends. Increasingly, Hong Kong companies prioritize Mandarin fluency over Cantonese or English, reflecting the city's pivot towards serving mainland Chinese interests. Cultural transformation. The clientele at bars and restaurants tells its own story. For example, a cocktail bar near HKEX, once a hotspot for Western bankers, now caters mainly to mainland patrons who prefer bottles of whiskey over single drinks. Even the bar's live band has adapted, learning Mandarin classics like The Moon Represents My Heart to appeal to their new audience. Decline in Western institutions. Global financial giants like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and UBS, which once earned substantial revenues in Hong Kong, have cut back their operations amid declining profitability. International law firms, facing competition from lower-cost mainland counterparts, have followed suit with their own rounds of layoffs. This trend mirrors a broader exodus of expatriates and foreign professionals from Hong Kong, as the city becomes less accommodating to Western norms and business practices. What this means for Hong Kong. For Hong Kong, these changes signify a dramatic departure from its role as a bridge between East and West. Once celebrated as a unique crossroads of global finance, the city is increasingly seen as an extension of the mainland's economic and political system. Critics argue this mainlandization diminishes Hong Kong's global appeal and erodes the diversity that once set it apart. The loss of its international character is not just a cultural shift, it could have long-term implications for its ability to attract global talent and investment. A sobering reality. While some mainland Chinese commentators mockingly describe Hong Kong as an archaeological relic of its former status, the Wall Street Journal report brings legitimacy to these observations. The city's financial and cultural integration with the mainland may appear inevitable, but it comes with a profound sense of loss for those who once saw Hong Kong as a global beacon of openness and opportunity. For many, this transformation is a poignant reminder of how quickly fortunes can change in a city long celebrated as a thriving international financial hub. That's all for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more updates. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.